It's Donut. Hold on, let me get this music off. Donut, how are you doing, brother? Hold on, where you're muted. You got to unmute yourself.
Hey, thank you so much. Doing good. How are you? Doing great.
I'm doing great. Let me get these banners off the window here.
That thumbnail. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I'm so excited for this show.
Dude, it is, first of all, it's so crazy to be here talking with you and to have this conversation, because I have been trying to put this together for some time. And I, and I'm going to encourage anybody, if you're coming in late, or please, moderators, let people know to, if they come into this show halfway through and don't start it from the beginning, they're probably going to be really lost. So I would say start it from the beginning, or watch the replay, come in and try to figure it out, or back up just a little bit and see if you can catch up. Want to first of all just say to everybody, it's been a long time, so Donna, you know this, so let me just kind of address the audience itself a little bit. It's really, really good to be back here talking to you guys. And let me try to adjust this camera. My setup here is not quite what it has been in the past, so I'm dealing with a lot less than I have, but it's amazing. It's great to be back here. There's been so much that's gone on, but the reason for the show, and I've always intended to restart the channel with very, very different, a very different understanding of the things that we've already learned here, the things that you've been talking about. This is all disclosure. And today, the message and the things that we're going to be talking about today, Donna, we couldn't have had this conversation and people accept it or even remotely consider it 6 months ago, really. I mean, except really fringe people. But right now, the vast majority of people are aware and they're seeing these things, and it's happening so quickly, and nobody really understands why. And that's why this became really urgent. And I'm here, and I've moved to Mexico, so I basically renounced my citizenship. And
oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Get out of her, my people. I heard that. I don't know if anybody else didn't, but yeah, get out. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And those are future shows talking about really the situation of the government, but who they really are. And that's really what this is all about. This entire show is not just about scriptural stuff and Satan and spirits and demons and parasites. And no, it's literally about everything that you're going through right now. And it's the same thing. Time is irrelevant. Yes. Everything happens at the same time. So the theory of relativity, right? Einstein said time doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And boy, oh boy, is it. And this is going to be hard. This is going to wrap up everything from Antarctica, you name it. This brings so much stuff together, and there's no way we can bring all of this together in one show. What I'm going to be doing here is showing you, and I want to let everybody know that Donut doesn't have any idea the details of this. All I did was he saw the thumbnail and I said, it's parasitic. We've done it before. This is old, and it's going to reveal these things. So he's going to be hearing this as we go through this.
Yeah, I'm with the audience.
Yeah.
I was very excited though, because you have this quote with the word worm in it. And I've been looking into all these different symbols of the animals. You got the zodiac animals, you got the phoenix, which is like the double-headed eagle.
Yeah.
I've been really looking into cows lately because of all the story of mutilation, and it's wild how ancient that symbol is. So when you wrote worm, it's actually a topic that I've been looking into, but it's hard to find information on it. So yeah, I'm very excited for this show.
Yeah. And even somebody just put in the comments, wormwood, right? So
wormwood tea.
Yeah. So but all of this, I'm telling you, and it's so crazy. It's going to make so much sense. But at the same time, I guarantee you, it's going to startle every single person that's listening to this, because it's really startling. And once you understand it, know that it literally does exist, it changes everything. And you're going to realize so much stuff, even about what's happened during the pandemic and all of that.
Okay.
And everything that's been revealed. Obviously, this is still YouTube. So I regardless, it's not one of those platforms where I just get to say things out loud. Right.
Right.
but everybody knows what I'm talking about when it comes to this. So here's what I'm going to do is I've got to I'm going to first show this. I'm going to share this, and I'm going to show this and start here with this. Pardon me, and I'm going to, please excuse me, folks. I don't have multiple monitors. I got one monitor. So when I switch, I don't get to go seamlessly to a browser, which is a separate monitor. So you'll see my entire monitor until I go to things. So you'll see stuff like that. Just I'd ask you, you know, just to ignore that for a minute. So you can see these images, right? Do you see those?
Right. The apple getting serpent. You got that on the Mac logo. It looks like similar.
All I did was type in the serpent and the apple, right? That's it. And the serpent and the apple, and what are you going to get? Just look at some of the imagery. Doing it, we're going to do this quick because there's a lot of things to go through, but you're going to understand exactly where this goes. Obviously, this is Adam and Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what happened is when they ate of the apple, something changed, or ate of the fruit. It doesn't actually say apple. However, this has become the esoteric meaning of it, because they used, it was spoken of as an apple, but that wasn't actually the words that were used. So,
do they have any idea of what it was? I've heard it could be a pomegranate. I just heard so many different things.
Regardless, there is a worm in the apple.
Okay.
And here you go. Right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got the worm that the teachers eat, right?
Yes. For what? Wisdom.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So now let's look at satanic worm. Just, you know, just general looking. Then you're going to start to see different types of imagery. Now, this is where you come in. This is why I wanted you to see this, so you'll understand all of the things that you've seen in the past, all the imagery, all of the symbols, all the symbolism that you've been covering. All of these things are going to start to come together a little bit.
Right.
It is a, and you're going to see as we continue. Now, let's go to scripture very quickly. Just so I'm going to get to the meat of this really quick, but we're going to cover these pieces. Because first, let me do this. I'm going to come back to this screen, take this off of here. Let me say this, how this vision and how this revelation came about. And I'm going to have to get to an email here so I can show you a picture, because I think this is going to be more important than anything else.
Right. You know, when Elon was wearing that Baphomet on his chest at that Halloween party, if you remember that, there was the person hosting it, Heidi Bloom or whatever her name is. She was dressed up as a worm, and it was very creepy looking. And she had a pirate next to him with this one eye symbolism of Set worship, because his eye was gouged out. Very interesting, but that worm was there.
Yes. Now watch this. I'm going to go back to sharing my window one more time. Bring this up. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
there.
What's that?
So I talked with Santos Bonacci on my channel. In fact, I will leave a link for that in the description box. I'll update that, or sometime during the show, or somebody else find the video. But I think it's about 10:15. I begin talking to Santos about parasites. And I don't know whether you know who Santos Bonacci is.
Yes, I did a podcast with him. Yes.
Oh, okay. So Santos talked about this. And you know what is crazy is that he brought up during that show, and this is in like mid 2019, actually early 2019, maybe even late 2018. In fact, it's late 2018. And so we started talking about that. And I mentioned this because that's me. That's my side.
That's you?
That's me. That's my side in 2013. Okay. And when people want to ask me about the rosaries, that's a whole different thing. I am not Catholic. Those aren't even mine. Somebody put them around my neck and wouldn't allow me to take them off. I can't even explain it. Like I said, it's an entirely different story. That's a whole other video. And anybody that knows me and has heard testimony, you probably heard that story. But for a different time. But this right here, this scar is from a parasite. And we discussed this. And Santos was mentioning two different anti-parasitics. The second one he mentioned that was critical, that helped him, and this has to do with spirituality. So keep this in mind as I go. What helped him was let's call it the believer metin, if that makes sense, right?
Like believer.
Yeah, no. Remember that thing that they banned and said that it was, for cows and horses and that?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, that. That is used all over the world, really, for lots of things. Malaria, lots of different things, lots of different parasites, one that actually do. But it also does something really, really remarkable, and I can't say that on here, but you'll find the evidence of it is that it has something to do with the thing that has an association, raises a bunch of money for it. There's lots of different types in your prostate, in your breast, you know what I'm talking about. It has a major impact on that. And now I'm going to explain why, because it all has to do with this parasite. But the real parasite that we're talking about is different. We're talking about this one right here, the one that's on me, the big one. It's a very specific parasite, and every single one of us have it. Every one of us. And if you'll notice, it's in the shape of G.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now let's go back to here.
You even got like parasites in the belly that's sort of mind controlling.
Brain parasites.
Yeah, got my
See, there's much more, yes, but there's much more to these parasites. Wait until we get into this, because this is where, Christ is talking. Your temptation's the same, where he's talking, and he says, let's go back here. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, and he's talking little ones. He's talking about babies in Christ. People just learning this, and they're stunned. They're that phrase of being born again. They've started again because everything that they knew in life that they believed is shattered, and they're right back at the beginning, having to relearn everything they thought they knew.
Mm-hmm. Like a new perspective of life would be a good way to put it.
You're a new person because, see, because you were born, but you were born into sin. Okay. You're born into sin. So you automatically already have what it is that causes you to sin. And you're entering into a binary system that is based on good and evil, right? Not good versus evil, good and evil. Now, let me go back to here for a minute. Good and evil is a balanced equation. Like you heard the architect say that he is the architect, and what he's created was this perfection of a balanced equation of perfection. But there was the anomaly, which was Neo, right? The balanced, the perfect equation is good and evil. You have to have as much good as you have evil, or the entire thing breaks down. Right? Positive and negative. We are an energetic universe. We are a toroidal earth system. We know that energy. You, us personally, are also a toroid powered by that same toroid. So think of yourself as a capacitor that's within a computer or something. Start to think about linkages between things. And people see the flower of life, and they see all of these images, cymatics created with frequencies, right? Now we go, oh, they're good because you make you feel spiritual. Certainly, it makes you feel spiritual because you're understanding that there is a completely different dimension of something that you're not aware of. The difference is people don't understand the dimension that that's in. They're still within the prison system that keeps them here in that balanced equation of good and evil. So here's the problem. The God of this world and the systems of this world need to balance that equation. If something rises, if love rises too much, and love covers an abundance of sin, this is what scripture says. So follow me here. The more people have love, it covers the abundance of sin, an abundance of sin. So one person could mean that they cover the sin or the evil of 100,000 people, just one. And that reckons back to Monsters, Inc., where first you thought it was the screams that had energy, but it's really the laughter and the giggling that has 10 times the amount of energy. And showing that they're taking energy in order to power something, right? So again, the symbolism, and they're showing you these things. So follow me here, is that the fear and the frequencies drive these things. It's a communication system and it's a power system. Nikola Tesla found it. People found these frequencies and understand. Now, it's not that we're discovering we're discovering something new. We're discovering what already exists and what was already built and by who. So the point being is that obviously Elon Musk has talked about us living in a simulation. I've talked about that a number of times. Many people have, because we have more evidence to prove that we live in a simulation. And we do. This is already run by a ancient AI, and that is the God of this world. Really going to be difficult for people to understand, but we're entering into Tower of Babel 2.0 because, see, the elite of this world want to kill him. But it's not like he's good. They want to take what he has. And it's the same thing as the Tower of Babel, firing arrows at God, and the arrows would come down with blood on them. And so God decided he'll just destroy the whole thing, confuse your languages, and you won't be able to do this and challenge my rule here again. Okay, so I'm just giving you these big pieces of this. These are huge things where I said, you really got to be able to bear with this stuff and get to the end. That's why I said you will have to go back to the beginning as we go through this. But the balance of good and evil. So now you're going to understand what's going on in the world. When they need nuclear war, it's because the matrix is collapsing. If there is too much love, the balanced equation ends. And just like scripture, the skies will roll up like a scroll and mountains will be laid low and everything changes. And that's literally why the sun is doing the things that it's doing. It's why they're blocking the sun, because the sun is actually the thing that is waking us up because of the stage that we're in. It allows you to see the different aspects of yourself. And that's why people are becoming more spiritual. The reason why they're becoming more spiritual is because they're becoming familiar with the demons that they have, the dark night of the soul, therapy, going through these things. We all have demons, all of us. And I'm letting you know right now, they're all parasites. So this is where Christ said, it is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye, when he's telling you, if your foot causes you to sin, if it's in your foot, cut it off. It's better for you to enter lame without that, because if that parasite, that demon, and I'm going to get more into what that parasite and that demon does, and I'll show you and you'll see it. It's insane. Hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It's better for you to go crippled than to two hands to go to hell, to the unquenchable fire. And if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life lame than with 2 feet or be thrown into hell. And if your eye causes you sin, tear it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with 1 eye than 2 eyes to be thrown into hell, where their worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. For everyone will be salted with fire. Salt is good, but if the salt has lost its saltiness, how will you make it salty again? Have salt in yourselves and be at peace with one another. Be at peace with one another. This is critical, because he is literally speaking of that thing that I showed you. And when this thing came out of my side, this is what I'm saying. All of us have this. When this thing came out of my side and how it was removed, that's a story that we'll get into during this, because it's going to be important to understand. But when it came out of my side, it was not normal. And it was translucent and had a human face at the top of it.
What?
Oh, yeah. It was the craziest thing ever. So then you think about when in scripture, where I'm not sharing these screens that I'm reading. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing the screen. So if I do that again, just let me know, don't it? Because I don't have multiple screens.
Gotcha.
So this is where he's talking about where their worm does not die. Okay. And as he begins talking about people, and he begins talking about their face, like the woman that had an issue of blood, and when she touched, she was healed. He was telling everybody, number one, the most important thing is that they are the ones that heal them, their faith. So just like he says in this, where the man asks him, let me find it. Hold it. It's over here in Mark 9.
And the screen's still not shared.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, so you guys can see. This is so much harder with one monitor.
Yes, it is.
So let me go back. This is in Mark 9 when they're asking, when the father says, can you help my child because he has a demon that throws him into the fire? How long has this been happening to him? Jesus says. And he said, from childhood, and has often cast him into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And Jesus said to him, if you can, with an exclamation point, if you can do it, all things are possible for one who believes. And immediately the father cried out and said, I believe, help my unbelief. Because this is it, unbelief. And you can't believe in something until you know it's actually happening. And that's why this conversation we're having right now. So remember in Acts, immediately an angel of the Lord struck him down because he did not give God the glory, and he was eaten by worms and breathed his last breath, right? So I'm going to cruise through some of these things right now. Now, let me find the scripture. I don't have it up here. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on. It's up here. I'm looking for, that's the garments. I'm looking for where to go? Here you go. Here it is. So Mark 5:8, the man that comes up that has all the demons, and crying out with a loud voice, he said, what do you have to do with me? Let me go back here. Night and day, among the tombs, and on the mountains, he was also crying out and cutting himself with stones. And when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and fell down before him. And crying out with a loud voice, he said, what have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you, by God, do not torment me. For he was saying to him, come out of the man, you unclean spirit. And Jesus asked him, what's your name? And he replied, my name is Legion, for we are many, which means it's a battalion. It's a lot. It's an actual specific number, but it just means really a whole battalion. And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the country. Different. Now a great herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside, and they begged him, saying, send us into the pigs, let us enter them. So he gave them permission, and the unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs, and the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank and into the sea and drowned in the sea. 2,000 pigs. That means there was at least 2,000 demons or parasites in that man. Because see, what you got to understand, and what this is going to be the hardest thing for people to realize, parasites are demons. They're literal spirits, but they are actual people. This is why you can't eat pigs. And I'm going to explain this to you. If you love it, but it's really, really difficult. Watch this. Let me play this again.
Yeah, I've heard that pigs I don't know where I heard this from, but pigs are humans. Or I don't know if you ever heard something like that before, but that was,
oh no, but this is what I'm saying. That's why they wanted to go into the pigs, because they can survive in the pigs, because they're parasites. They're a human-born intentional parasite storage unit, so to speak, that they're in pigs. Pigs meat, and pigs are in themselves, out of all animals on the earth, are the closest to the human than any other animal. In fact, when they're burned, when humans are burned, they smell like pork.
I also heard that they taste the same too.
I've never eaten a human, but I've
heard. I know. I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, let me get back this to.
And have you seen the movie District 9 at all?
No.
It's sort of similar to what we're talking about, but they're like these aliens, but it turns out that they're actually humans, but they look like these parasites.
It's the same thing, brother. Wait until we get into this. I'm going to try. This is what they got to keep up with this, but it's real. This establishment of this from the ancient side is what I'm saying, is that we have an ancient technology. We're building technology right now biogenetically engineered organic material. We build cells inside of the body. We can literally have them build organs. It's like 3D printing inside the body. They can program to do certain things. This is about control. We're already under control. That main parasite you have is what regulates the good and evil.
And
right?
You said everybody has this parasite?
Everybody. Consider that Satan.
Okay.
That is exactly what eating of it was. That was the original parasite. That's when they became, and they were cast out, because now they're going to live in this. You'll know the difference between good and evil. You're going to learn the difference, right?
Gotcha.
And you're going to learn what it is. This was his world. So the story of that is that once that parasite was taken, you were literally stolen. So you don't live here. Your body is somewhere else. And that parasite allowed them to take over you. It's here, and it manifests in a 3D form in this toroidal fashion, managed by a massive system. I have said on my channel consistently that everybody has relegated Satan to a little red guy with a pitchfork and a pointy tail. And I've been saying consistently that if you understand even what scripture says, that he's the God of this world, he has the power to offer Christ everything, all the power and everything that is in it if he worships him. He owns it. It's his. This is his matrix, and he controls it, and he makes sure. He says, it says in the Old Testament, right? I create good and I create evil. Well, you're the one that gave the parasite. Of course you do. This is your system. So imagine this. Out of all of the galaxies and everything, our system itself is actually created and managed. So yes, it is by intelligent design. So there is a God, and that's why they all believe in this God. But the difference is this God is relegated to this system and where we're at right now. This is why the Bible says that when you see him, you will look upon this person and go, this is the man, right? We will see this person. All of these things that I'm talking about right now will be revealed in the highest order, and it will literally terrify people, because everything they thought was real is they're gonna instantly be thrown into the dark night of the soul, and they might not survive it.
And but you were talking about technology of our cells, and that's the good. Was that what you were kind of saying?
Let me just show you this for a minute. Let's quickly just go back to sharing these things, because I'm just going to go through each one of these windows at a time, right?
Cool.
So very quickly, pork tapeworms on the brain. Just a quick few minutes of this.
I don't hear anything.
You're not hearing anything?
No.
Okay, hold on. Am I not sharing sound? Hold on. Let me stop sharing again. Well, you should, because I have this. Oh, that's odd. Let me output. Let me just make sure my output's right.
Sometimes I just do it the old-fashioned way and put my microphone up to the...
Yeah, I don't have speakers. So
okay.
Choose your input device, microphone, output. It should. No, that's really weird. Hold on, sound. Well, you guys could hear the other stuff that I had here. That's odd. So let me do a sharing a thing. Maybe I didn't click share sound. So share screen.
Sure. I also heard that like certain foods that you eat go into your belly, and you got good bacteria and bad bacteria. Like if you drink kombucha, it's kind of feeding that microbiome. Like the belly is like this.
The belly of the beast.
The brain. Belly of the beast right there. Wow. But like you hunger for certain different foods. Like, oh man, I want those chicken nuggets or whatever it is. But it's not you that wants it. It's the parasites that are living off of the food. So it's like we're under mind control through food as well.
No, and that's the whole point. There's a competition now for this stuff. That's what I'm saying. The world is competing and moving in this direction rapidly. And let me go back again. I just wanted to bring up one more time the Jesus casting the demons into the swine. They could go into the swine and then they killed themselves because they all understood, because that man had essentially separated. Something was taking place that allowed people to actually hear and understand the parasites in their mind. Okay, so this is what I want to say. When you have a thought, everything in physics and spirituality will tell you that if you can observe your thought, it isn't yours. Okay, so the thought, think of a person, a disembodied spirit that has inhabited a worm that is in your brain. It is living its life through you. And this is also part of the teachings of the Luciferians. So they know this stuff, is that an alcoholic has a demon that was an alcoholic. He hasn't passed through, had his memory erased. He's waiting in his doom, and he's literally in a pig or in a person. And they live their life through you because they're seeing it through your eyes and experiencing it through you, and they encourage. And that's where people's personality changes, or different periods of times in their life, they take on an entirely different personality. So, or can have multiple. It's not multiple personality disorder. It's they're listening to multiple different parasites. Finding your own voice isn't observable. That's why Christ said the kingdom of heaven doesn't come in a way that is observable. And thoughts are observable. So the kingdom comes in a different way when those parasites are killed or silenced, and they're actually sentient. So Christ speaking to them and identifying them as separate from that person was clearly startling to even them, and they are cast out. They're shut out. And that's why he could actually do that, because he understood that they were there. But listen to this right here.
Wow, that's amazing. You're going to have to share with me where that is, because I want to read that again, because that was really good.
Yes. So here we go. See if you can hear it.
The most common cause of adult onset epilepsy in the world is called neurocysticercosis, which literally means pork tapeworms curled up inside our brain. A review last year out of the Mayo Clinic describes the problem. Cysticerci, meaning the
Notice the fireflies in the central nervous system. Fire.
Pork tapeworm larvae create cavities in the human brain and other body tissue where their tiny bodies grow sometimes into tapeworms 2 to 7 meters in length and can live up to 25 years in the human body. 7 meters means 23 feet long. On MRI, so-called wormholes appear. On CT scan, there can be so many in the brain at one time, it can appear similar to a starry sky. Each star is a fluid-filled cyst with the beginning of a living, growing tapeworm inside. This is what they look like on autopsy. This is what their face looks like. They have these rings of hooks to grab onto our brain tissue. Earlier this year, a review was published.
I'm sorry, but that,
wow, yeah, that was...
right there, first of all, looks like every demon's mouth you've ever seen painted.
That's wild.
It also looks a hell of a lot like the plug that goes into the back of their necks in The Matrix.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And while we're doing this, let's just watch this for 1 second while we're thinking about this. Here's a demonstration of exactly what we're talking about in The Matrix about, and listen to what he's saying too. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, let me go back. I wanted to check because
you know when you said fireflies, I mean the fire, but also flies like Beelzebub or whatever his name is. The
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies, the fireflies. They're fireflies. They're little satanic flies. I mean, that's how it's referred to, but it's a tapeworm, and you're 23 feet long. Did you see that brain? And it looks like
it was gross.
And it looks like a constellation, right? And the stars are people. They're spirits. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, it's lit. It's the craziest thing in the world. So this gets even nuttier. Let's watch this. I just have to share the tab specifically.
Oh yes, I remember that scene.
Whether you want to or not.
It's technology. And watch. boom, becomes organic. What does it look like? Big old giant sperm with legs. It wasn't a dream, Neo. It was not a dream. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, I've got nanobot science. You can look up bioorganic chemistry. Check this out. I'm going to share this. Right here's just another one. And this one, what is this even called? So I can look at it up on the tab because that's the only way I can seem to get sound. This is crazy stuff. Here you go. Now, this is a nanobot that they make. Now, you're going to trip out on this little. So you look at the little design of it. And what it does is it grabs a hold of a sperm cell. Watch, it'll grab one, grab it by its tail, and it'll insert it in the egg. It knows where the egg is. It knows what it's doing. And this is stuff practiced.
That's wild. That's
Yeah. Now there's it's even crazier. So nanomechanics is very real and very active. And I'm giving you just these names, nano. And I can show you where Trinity removes the bug from Neo. And when she does, it comes out as that organic piece. She throws it on the ground, and then the technology comes back. So the point is that anybody thinks that our bodies are not already high technology, even given the ancient texts, the Sumerian texts, even, and this gets even crazier. And I wish I could just share the dang window. I'm going to have to, let me do that because then I can just click through these tabs. It'll be much faster. But there's just no sound, but I don't have any videos right now. So there's the nanobot. Nanomechanics, you can look up TV tropes, look up that name, nanomechanics. All through your body can do things. The machines like the Matrix spoke of. Now, when I talk about how this stuff is controlled, the cymatics, the vibrations, and everything. Okay, David Icke did a video that I can show you over here, except we can't get any audio when I'm sharing just the whole screen here. But he said that anything that he on his ayahuasca trip, on an ayahuasca trip, only love is real, like I've said for, and I've heard and seen and felt the same thing. And he said, and everything that is vibration is a lie, is fake. So this vibration, our toroidal system, our energy is what makes the 3D world happen. And like I said, the matrix can literally collapse and we revert back to where we are, where we were really, where we're from, because this is the illusion. Everything here is fake. Now, how do we know this? Because it's ancient and they've all talked about it. Scriptures. Let's look at Saturn's hexagon in motion. Now look at this. Do you see this motion? First of all, it's a hexagon. And guess what else? Look at it moving in different directions. And that's what you would call Ezekiel's wheel.
wow.
Right? Now, let's get a little bit deeper. Here's Saturn. Every single religion, the tetrahedron, cube worship and Kabbalah, right? Understand the sides, 6. This is what it is. It's
the sixth planet from the sun.
And this is a 6-dimensional shape that occupies 6 dimensions. This is a control mechanism. This records everything. This is the eye in the sky. This is everything. This is the antenna, so to speak, of what you would say would be Satan or Saturn that you worship on Sabbath. You walk around a box that spins So they walk around the box, the tetrahedron, and that's exactly what it is. Now, that's why you also see animals, because they're all also honoring this god, this energy. I mean, look at this. This is what they do. They walk around in circles, right? This is the control mechanism. It's a frequency. Kaaba. You understand what Kaaba? That's what that is. Kabbalah, that's the new Talmudic. Here's an Israeli, very controversial black cube intelligence firm. So you know who we're dealing with here. You wouldn't believe what this company does. Involved in all sorts of operations, including the election meddling, all of that stuff. Okay. Now, here's also this tefillin, right? You know what these are, right?
Yes. Fulfilling.
Yes, we're both Jewish, so nobody can call us anti-Semitic here. Now let's keep walking through this. Epstein's Island. It's not a black cube on the outside, but it is on the inside.
Interesting.
Yeah, and where does Jeffrey Epstein?
On where is the island?
No, Black Cube is a select group of veterans from Israeli elite intelligence units.
Oh, I gotcha.
Specialize in tailored solutions to complex business and litigation challenges. That means they blackmail people. They get them in very, very bad positions and get pictures of them, and and they've done that to the whole world. Every single major politician or power center on Earth, and they work for the Black Cube because there's an actual person there. Look up ancient parasites. Lots to look on that. Now, Elon Musk, just before I posted my show, this is 20 hours ago, it says, posted, she said, please, my ancestors, I need your guidance. Loud skittering sounds. He's talking about that. This is what I'm saying. This is not an...
look at that synchronicity, too.
This is not, I mean, look how you can see 19 hours ago and 20 hours ago. He did it right after. I'm like, what are you talking about? And because the whole point is that these parasites have a personality. They have a life. They have a life. They might have died, thought they survived, and they woke up in you. They don't really know how, where, died, were reborn into you, and you are their new life. You don't know how this works, but it's demonic, all of it. Now, dang it, I can't get the sound here. I don't have speakers, so it makes it even worse. I don't know why StreamYard doesn't allow me to.
I still can't figure it out.
No, but I really think it was Roadcaster. Yeah, it's going to there. Let me see. Let me see if you can hear these. Can you hear them?
No.
Weird. Wonder if I can put this headphone. And so now with all of that I've been talking about, okay, think about all of the satanic thing, because this is a video he's talking about that people, they don't even care. They're right in front of your face about Satan now, right? They're demonstrating it. They're in front of your face about Satan. Why? Because this is all coming down. All of it. And they're all going to meet him. But here's the deal. And this is what I got to show. So let me put on that tab so I can then share that tab alone. Because everybody's talked about children sacrificing to babies, all of these things, right?
Right.
Okay, well, this is the deal. This is what I want to say. That the real reason why all of this is going on, the jibby thingy, all of it, everything, you just have to understand how it works. First of all, this is why people can be moved in large numbers, because first of all, to balance out the equation, the evil has to come up. It has to, right? Even in Robert Seffer wrote a book called 1666, which is called, what was it called? Redemption Through Sin. The original Jewish Messiah back in 1666, a man by the name of Sabbatai Zvi had 1 million followers in a world where there were only like 2.5 million Jewish people. And, almost half of them followed this guy. Well, his doctrine was redemption through sin, that he could get God to come or destroy the world if we had more sin than good. So they created a scheme of redemption through sin that never ended, because they want him to show up, because they believe that they can kill him, and they've taken over his subjects with technology. They've built technology that mimics that technology. So think about a guy that built Twitter, 300,000 years ago. And he runs it, and that's why he reduced all his subjects to 120 years, so they don't get to maintain their memory, and they don't get to build up stuff, shattered them. They used to be 900 years old, but, I got to reduce those. So let me change the programming of this matrix and reduce you down to 120 years so you can never really challenge me. And then I can choose who's really loyal to me, and I can resurrect you because I can take your parasite and put your memory back in that thing and continue. I can make you the same person. And not only that, there can be many people living inside the same person. So that's why you have somebody that, there could have been 2,000 people in Hitler. There was 2,000 demons inside the pigs. And this isn't a stretch. It's crazy, but because because people don't believe that we have that technology now. They've lied. I mean, it's incredible. I've got a video up here already queued up that 25 years ago, we had created nanosystems, organic matter, cell matter, where it could build stuff and create stuff inside your body. People, it's like we're way ahead. We are continually kept in a very, very dark place, and that's why that becomes an Illuminati thing. Their agenda is happening, and you're watching it take place. It's done through blackmail. It's done through whatever. But they need to meet this God. And if you want to kind of bring Antarctic into this, is that in the book of Enoch, it says that this one, Azazel, which loves war and loves all that, he's the one that taught everybody to build weapons, that he is solely responsible, and he is cast down here forever and ever. Amen. He can never leave. And to be punished, that it was to throw him into the pit in the desert in Dudael and cover him up with jagged rocks. Well, that sounds like 7 feet of Antarctic ice. That would sound like jagged rocks to me. And why there's so much going on down there that seems to regulate so much of the world's systems. In fact, all of it, right? So who is that down there? Is that the master? Is that the architect of the parasites that are literally in us, and the architect of all this vibration? Because I think we're going to meet this person, right? And this is literally going to be that Antichrist person. But I believe that they want to kill him, and they've disclosed to people that they want to kill him in the same way that the Tower of Babel, the people were tired of being ruled by him. They didn't like his structure of good and evil. They didn't like it because the good and the evil were two different things. So this is also why you're seeing, it's like they're trying to entice him to come. You've got all this satanic stuff, all these, obviously this is a binary person, both male and female. An angel before the female was taken from Adam, right? He made him, he made them, both male and female. He made him, singular, male and female. And then Eve was pulled from a rib from his side. Christ, when he was pierced in his side and blood and water flowed, that is exactly the description I would give you from what that came from my side. And that's why he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Because when that was removed from my side, like I could feel it.
Were you showing the screen? Just because we don't see the screen, just a heads up.
For my side.
Yeah. I don't like looking at gross pictures like that, like the brains or whatever. But
yeah, but it's not really a gross picture. It's just a scar. But I mean,
you're very muscular in it, and it's not that gross. But I get freaked out when I see the brain images and all that stuff. Freaks me out.
No, but so when this happened, I mean, let me just tell you what it felt like, and this is what I mean. Remember that we just saw that parasite, right? That parasite with all those teeth. When this came out of me, a pit, it felt like it looked like he bit me, but he bit something else, because this isn't a dog bite. It was like he grabbed and there was another person there with me. Thank God I had somebody else to witness this. And it had just come when I went up to this truck that was in my yard. It was a very weird experience, but there was a death card and some eggs and blood, some black magic voodoo thing with a death card there that I saw. And then this thing started vibrating in my side, and this dog tore it out. When it came out, I've broken like probably 30 bones in my body. I've tore ligaments, both my collarbones at the same time. I have never felt pain like that being removed, because what happened from head to toe in every single cell in my body, it felt like 1 billion volts of electricity was I was being electrocuted. And my hand, I couldn't even move. My hand, I'm holding on my side. And because I thought it was blood, because I felt all of this moisture. And when I looked down at my hand, there was a tiny little bit of blood. It was all water running all the way down my leg. And that scar that you see here you can see it still is. It was indented. It was even deeper than that. That's actually when it started to heal, but it was deeper than that. And it wasn't bleeding. So it was something that was pulled. Craziest thing. That's why I'm saying it was not a dog bite. And it was wild.
And you're saying that this parasite that was pulled out of you is in everybody right now. So this would be in me right now? Or is this like a...
Everybody has it. Where it's at, probably in one of your sides. And you wouldn't know it. It would not show up on an x-ray. When the dog had this thing, first of all, we tried to get it from the dog. The dog would not give it up. And he was having a hard time killing this thing, whatever it was. I mean, it was like a battle. And he was not, I was telling him, drop it. And he would ordinarily, but nope. The only thing I got to see was on the ground one time and he's holding it. And that's when I saw it had this, and it's translucent, like silicone. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have circuitry. Do you see what I'm saying? This is ancient technology. We're already finding that there's circuitry. You see it. I mean, there is organic circuitry that can be read now from a radio receptor, right? It's nuts. And so everybody, this is what I'm saying, this is not so far off, and it's going to get even worse because the technology that they actually have deployed, we might even find out, people speculate about people being cloned. Totally doable. Totally doable if you can control these things. If you can control these parasites, totally doable. But the difference is that there is like I said, they want to kill them. And so I want to play this video where Lara Logan, do you know who Lara Logan is?
No.
She's the reporter that was literally like gang raped by like 45 Egyptian men in the streets when she was reporting on the fall of Egypt. Do you remember that?
I do remember when that was happening.
Yeah, she was a major ABC foreign correspondent, and she's a really solid reporter. And, but she's now calling out everything. She's using kind of her skills to call out everything. And so she's gone after you, child trafficking and all these things. But check this out. Let me click on her. Not that one. Where is it? It's going to be, it's hard. They don't have names when I go to choose the tab, and I can't get sound without it. But listen to what she says.
We don't see the screen, FYI.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to share it. That's not it. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
You gotta, I have such a problem with this. You got to explain this one to me. And he said, well, first of all, you're looking at it the wrong way. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, they don't define children the way you do. They don't define the world the way you do. The choices that you face are not their choices, right? They look at it completely differently. And I said, well, okay, so how do they look at it? And he said, for them, everything is defined by their one fundamental, all-consuming purpose. I said, which is what? He said, to defeat God, right? Because this is the moment. I mean, for them, it's about the real God. The true gods are them and Satan, there, right? And so he said, children are the closest thing.
So she's just revealing that is literally, and that is the 1666. That hasn't changed. And they do literally worship this God. There is two different sides to it. One side, and this is where I've always said, we're battling two cabals. It's about who's going to control things. They very much want to control. If they can't kill God, then they want to control it, and they want to control this system entirely. Now, what's happening to us is why you're also having cover over your head. You're being clouded. Let's put it that way, right? People are being clouded. And that is blocking rays from the sun that are very specific that the sun is giving right now that it has not given. So this is a time in the system that they can do this and bring this about. And that's why they're rushing. They're not waiting for this. And this system, in order for him to come, they have to present it all in the same way. And that's also why you're seeing the force of this other kind of rainbow agenda and this try thing. And note that, like, removing from people's ideas the binary structure, because non-binary or trinary are showing up, if that makes sense. And they want to be able to take over all of this. And it's a very, I mean, this is ancient, and all of that. And see, the other thing is that you can be made into, that there are original souls. When you have a soulmate, you're literally from the same soul. That's how powerful the soul is. And that's where all of this is going. So let me get to, I did the Jeffrey. Make sure I'm covering the things I'm covering. And if you guys haven't followed me on TikTok, if you are on there, I am on there. Not nearly as active as I am. Not nearly as active as I am on Twitter. Twitter is a great place to stay in touch with me and find out what's going on. And also, I mean, I don't know, how often do you tweet, don't it?
Never. I've been removed from Twitter, Vimeo, Facebook, YouTube. I've been removed from so many places. I just started doing Twitter again, but I don't do it much. But I am uploading content up there.
Well, I'm Twitter has subscriptions. I'm waiting. You said you were approved. I'm waiting to be approved there.
I think you were approved today, man, because I saw the check mark just like a little bit ago.
Oh, maybe they did. Maybe they approved me, or as a subscribe, or as a where you can subscribe, because then at least, right now I exist solely on donations. That's how I live. So,
okay,
I live cheap here in Mexico, but on this and doing some technology when I can. And helping out folks when I can. I'm always trying to do something for somebody else, and I'm enjoying Mexico here.
I bet
learning the language.
Yeah,
having a little restaurant here on the side. Looking to get a couple good roommates here, that people that also want to get out of her. But we'll end up doing that. It's great.
I'd love to come down there. I love Mexico.
Oh, it's awesome. The people are just incredible. It's kind of like moving to the hood with nicer people.
Well, I've only really been to like the fancy place, Cancun.
Yeah.
And Puerto Penasco.
Oh, well, this is very different. I'm in a place that, military driving around, big 50 calibers. Occasionally you'll see some shootouts in some corners and some bad areas where, you know where not to go and you're fine. But essentially, you stay out of everybody else's business and they stay out of yours. And they're extremely helpful people. They're very willing to help. I saw something the other day that was amazing, that this lady and her son, the car stalled in the middle of the road. And I swear to you, every single person on that road stopped their cars and helped them push that. I mean, there's like 40 people pushing this car off the road. And I was like, that does not happen.
No,
anywhere.
Not out here.
No,
you get one person maybe.
Yeah. So as we go into this, and so the reason why I wanted you on this, Alex, is that I wanted you to hear this. I wanted you to be able to react to it and digest it in real time, and know that, and consider, I have demons. Of course, we all have demons, right?
Yeah.
So,
and of course, abrasive thoughts all the time.
So anti-parasitic, and the other reason, you know what happens to these things when you fast?
Right, fast.
They go to sleep. Every way that you're handling the parasitic nature of the body, major diseases, major issues are caused by parasites.
I've heard that you do certain fasts, then your cells do rejuvenate. Why does every religion, at least the ones I know of, have some sort of fasting in it as well? I do enjoy doing intermittent fasting. So there is something up with this gut connection, fasting, parasites. What a fabulous presentation. I want to edit the highlights of that, because I mean, I'm blown away. People in the comments are blown away as well. Yeah, that was amazing.
But you see where this is going. And imagine if these parasites can be controlled remotely. Mass formation psychosis. They can. And individual, like this group over here, they'll have the spirit of Jezebel. This group over here will have the spirit in the time of Jericho. This is where all of these themes came from. Every single one of these things came from this. And the amazing part is, in the Old Testament, there are no demons. It's like it had been reestablished. It was a new version. It was Adam and Eve, and it's only 6,000 years old. This is a new parasitic nature, because we wiped out everybody in a cataclysm, because these cataclysms can be caused, and actually are caused, because of the nature of good and evil. Too much good, it's going to collapse. It's going to be a calamity. Enough people are reduced to keep it alive. That's why the architect in the Matrix said, you can't, Neo said, you can't kill all of us. You need us. And he said, there's a certain level of survival that we're willing to accept.
I gotcha. Yeah. You know, you brought up the movie Monsters, Inc. And I was Googling Monster, Inc. worms. And there's a character in it, and her name is Roz, R-O-Z, who is the worm. And she's the teacher. I'm sure there's something up to that slug woman, Roz. In the show, what she does is, let me see what she says. She says that I'm watching you, Wazowski, always watching, always.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Yeah, I remember that.
I've never seen the movie, but I've just always looked at it. So is there a connection to I'm watching you with that movie? Because that movie just...
Yes, of course, I'm watching you. That parasite, literally, it's in your head, it's in your butt, it's fully connected. That's why it felt so destructive when it came out of me. And literally, this is the whole point. It's like, my God, why have you forsaken me? I literally felt like I lost something that I wanted, because it's my connection to the God of this place. But it changed everything, because when that happened, boy, they came for me like I was a rogue agent, and they still come for me. Like it's never ends. And this is exactly when people die to certain things, or they've done something. And this is exactly why during this whole thing, they didn't want people taking an anti-parasitic. You know what I mean? They didn't want people learning. And the other thing is the toroidal, that energy, stay away from each other. Got to keep that, because the coordination of the parasites is a problem. That's why people fell into this.
It's group think too. So the group think is like the parasite.
Well, these parasites, think about this, it's like a decentralized communication as well. You're connected. Yeah, they do connect. You do connect through energy. So
yeah, like someone walks by angry, you can feel it.
You can feel it. You can feel that energy. That's electricity. That's what I'm saying. We are literally an electric world. You are an electric body. Entire matter is assembled because there's electricity and vibration. That's why it said anything vibrating is fake. It's false. It might look pretty. It might make you feel spiritual because you know something new and it seems pretty. And you're like, oh, that's another place outside I haven't been. But that's just, it's like looking at the gate design of your prison gate. It doesn't look like a chain link fence. It's prettier. It's nicer. It's more deadly. You'll never escape it.
Right. Video editing all the time. It's like I'm looking at this fake world on the editing screen and living through the camera lens. And then I look into the real world somewhat. What is this real? I look into this vibrational frequency. And I don't know, it feels like it looks faker the older I get. I don't know what that's all about. It could be because I partied a little bit, maybe too much brain stuff messed up. And that goes into another thing that Carl Jung, who said that only way to recover from the alcoholism or any ism, because I'm in recovery, is through a psyche change, which means your soul has to be born again in a sense there, a new perspective. You have to have a spiritual experience to recover from what could be a parasite. And I have an interesting slide of Carl Jung mandala that has this slug on it. And my friend Juan said that it might have been Yalda Bayoff. This slug, I'm not sure if I could share that screen, but I think it's quite interesting to add onto this. So this is Carl Jung's mandala, and the mandala is sort of like the Ezekiel wheel. It's the disc.
Yeah.
Something I've been looking into is the whole UFO thing. And may I move some of the slides, just kind of to show?
Yeah. Can you control them? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't control them.
Oh yeah.
So I've been looking into. We're hearing so much about aliens and UFOs, and right there, the bite of the apple, the parasite on the dollar bill, you have this egg-headed alien, which looks just like what Aleister Crowley drew of Lam, but movies come out of the idea of aliens as like the new mythos, new religion. It feels that they're pushing on us. So you got ET, they're doing that same like God, man, hand sign in the moon there. But these symbols of cows and discs, here's Vishnu with the disc, there's the Ezekiel wheel, of the UFO and the cows being abducted or mutilated, it goes right into our psyche for thousands and thousands of years. So there's this element of religion, religious, I want to believe, right? You were showing all like the scriptures say believe a lot. So I feel like there's something up, and this is the last one I want to show with the parasites, is this Heidi Klum's party that Elon was at wearing the Baphomet. She's here as a worm, and the guy that's with her, his eye's gouged out, but it's his left eye. And the left eye is known as Horus, I believe. And during the Grammys, I believe it was the Grammys that took place on Adam Weishaupt's birthday, ironically, at sunset. So you have Set and Horus.
Yeah.
There was an earthquake in Turkey, and Turkey's earthquake zone is that same symbol. So there is just so much going on that it's just mind blowing.
That's why I said this is going to tie up stuff. And you know what? You were just saying something about this, and it triggered something in my head. The story of oh my gosh, dang it, I missed it. There's so much going on, and I'm trying to find other things that I wanted. But what you said there
of the aliens, I believe.
No, go to the eye of Horus, and you said on the left side, the left eye. The eye is in the left side, right? The eye is in the left side. Well, yeah, that's where this came from, my left side. So maybe it's in all of our left side, but where and how? And I don't think that this one can be killed with anti-parasitics, just personally. I don't even think it can be touched because it probably is seen as identical in your DNA to you, not a foreigner, because you're born with it. It's part of what you're born with. And, you know, and it's incredible. I mean, with what's happening with, mRNA and all of these things trying to change and be able to insert this is about taking control of the parasitic nature of the matrix, because it's controlled through high technology. These parasites, even our bodies, this is all really ancient high technology.
I talked to the scientist who showed me the code. You know how we were talking about ones and zeros, that binary code. Well, what's happened over the last few years, there's a code in that. You could Google and look at the code, and the code ends with 33 A's. So the code of what happened ends with 33. This is a scientist. This isn't like so I looked it up and I was blown away. And he says, that's not natural. So the A is the bull or the cow, because it's the ox. Aleph in the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph is the ox. The A, going back to ancient Phoenicia and even more ancient, it was just a bull with the horns. So the A, like right up here, those are the two horns. So you have 33 bulls. I don't know. I'm looking into so many things, but I love that you have done so much, I would say, homework on ancient Samaria, all so many different topics, computer coding, and looking into this topic. It's really fun to learn, from what you're
Well,
uncovering. So thank you.
That's what's so crazy about, coming from technology. When I see how this would work, I'm like, of course it works this way. That would work. And I begin to see like the batches of how things are changed. They're changed in the same way that I would change them. And even if you look at cities today, they're designed, they look exactly like circuit boards. You got to understand that we are living under ancient technology, and the evidence of the ancient civilizations built with this technology is there. They might have had a different existence, but we are at a different place, because I believe that this is the Tower of Babel 2.0. They're trying to kill God again, but they're also trying to invite him in. They're trying to invite this, whoever it is, bring the architect. We want, because everything that it is about being non-binary. Non-binary. What's non-binary mean? Non-binary means there is no good or evil. They're trying to that's that everybody wants to get there, where there is no good or evil. There is no male or female. This isn't about the subject matter that people realize. This has much deeper meaning. It's energetic meaning. It's things that are falling and collapsing. Energies inside of ourself. Parasites are changing. The words are changing. Like I said, in the Old Testament, there were no demons. It wasn't until Christ shows up, and then in his presence, they become known, because they know he can see them, because he talks to them as separate people than the person that they're inhabiting. He talks to them and says, that isn't you. That's not who you are. Stop talking to me like that. Like he understood it. That's why he was also letting them know that people had given themselves over to it entirely, that have zero empathy, none. They can't empathize. They could pretend to have empathy, pretend to love, but they can't. They're literally cold, just like a serpent. Think about this, the reptilian side, the reptile in you. There is a reptilian side to how we think. If you give yourself over to that, that's what's happening. You give yourself over to that. You no longer even have the capacity, because you're living the serpent in you. You're not living as you. You haven't even found you yet. You don't even know who you are. You've been living the life of the serpent and who it says it wants you to be. And it's doing it exactly. And you know them by their fruits, like Christ said, because they've given themselves over. But he said, I'll bring you into remembrance as to who you are, which is remembering who you really are before these parasites and before you were controlled by that parasite. And he calls them out, and it makes them nervous, and they hate him and they want to attack him. But see, they act exactly like the reptile. That's how you know. They have zero feelings. They can pretend, but a reptile, a snake, a frog, any reptile really, will watch their babies being eaten and not even blink at it. They won't try to fight for their kids, defend their kids, nothing.
Wow. In the beginning, you started off with this quote that's on the thumbnail about the worm, but you went even deeper into the paragraph. And at the end, it said something, and I kind of want to know what it means. It said something about believe or forgive. It had something to do with like brotherly love, I think.
Yes, you must make sure that we don't bear much on one another. This is the whole thing. Love thy neighbor as thyself, because we're all in this together. And this is the whole point. They have a parasite. You have a parasite. You have demons. We have demons. If you judge them, once all of this comes down, and this is really the unforgivable sin, not listening to the Holy Spirit is not listening to yourself, your original self, the real you that's not here, that is in the kingdom, that is not in this 3D binary system that has locked our souls, our spirits, our consciousness in here. We don't live here. We're being used. So if we're judging somebody here, the only thing that passes back home is love. And we can't carry the stuff created here because it doesn't exist there. It's like, why would you bring the parasite home? You can't. And you're also fake. So the whole point is this matrix has to die, or you have to die to the matrix to leave. He doesn't like it because he can't leave, but you can. There is a way for you to leave. He convinced you to eat from the apple once, and they're trying to get you to do it again. Neuralink, are you kidding me? That thing controlling your brain, controlling the parasites. Do you think
and your memories too?
And everything. We're going to document your consciousness. They already have. It's ridiculous. It's insane to think that anybody thinks that this technology doesn't exist. We don't have aliens coming. They've already been here. They've been here a long time. I'm going to let you know, after studying this, Donut, I can tell you right now, in this very room with me, in that room with you or anybody else, there are people that are present. The technology that they have literally is that good. It's not that they're even on a different dimension. They can be here in this dimension and cloak themselves and be right next to you and cloak their audio and cloak their physical. You'll never know they're there. Never.
You can probably feel, though, that they're there. Maybe
you can feel the presence. Sure, you can feel the presence.
You ever feel like you're just chilling and you're just
Totally.
like, oh, I know there's something like.
Oh yeah, you feel it again.
And when you were a kid, you really feel that. Like,
well, because nobody told you that it wasn't. No, that's stupid. You never had that, so everything could be real, right? That's why you talk to your imaginary friends. You think they're imaginary? No. My daughter had a friend named Size. Okay. And how I knew that Size, where that name came from. But when she was like 5, she's adorable. She's like, no, Daddy, it's Size. Size would tell her stuff I was doing that she wasn't around for. What were you doing when you were doing this? You weren't there. How do you know? Size was. I'm like, oh, great. My daughter already has a CIA spy on me at 5.
Yeah, no, that's my sister too. Was similar like that. I'm not sure if she still has her imaginary friends or whatnot, but
see, everything that and all of this stuff is created. It's like all of the illusions. Like I always say to people when I'll talk about Paul or something like that, I go, where do you think, when I say, hey, Paul was a Roman operative, it didn't mean that he didn't have spiritual truths, but I go, hey, where do you think the saying came? Robbing Peter to pay Paul, because Peter actually walked with Christ. Paul never knew him. So he had to take Peter's position and steal it so he could have what he wanted. Anyways, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Everything that we say in our life is designed to do something, to hide something, I mean, it's a really simple programming, but you can also see how we get controlled by all of this. And if you think about this as somebody is literally at a mainframe, and this is how you know that it's all taking place, because they don't care what you think now. It's right in front of your face. They don't care. They're going to do it. They're going to complete what they're doing. The difference is that if we all rise up in love, all of this awakening is happening. No matter how much they block the sky, it doesn't matter. It's happening. It's huge. And we got to love each other and not judge one another. Stop judging even the worst of the worst. You got to remember that we're here. If we can do that, we stop judging each other, we can tear this whole thing to the ground. Just love one another. Stop judging. We don't get to judge. What? I get to judge my demons versus your demons. Oh, you've hidden yours better. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's something that I learned in recovery, that it's that I'm not a bad person. I'm just sick. Or so if there's somebody new in recovery, that they're not bad. Like, you talk to them and you can just see the sickness coming through their words, that it's not even them, because it's not. It's like you're saying, it's this satanic parasite. That's a great title. I mean, that is a great presentation, great title. I was looking at E.T., the phone home, and when he phoned home, oh yeah, I would just go into some slides. I don't have the slide, but this slide's pretty interesting. How they remove certain things out of the film. So you see the one guy with the stick in his hand, and down below it's gone. So this is kind of like what Google is. So someone said, go Google it. What you said, Alex, isn't true. I looked on Google. Well, things are changing.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a good example. But when E.T. phoned home, I don't have the slide, but there's this spell thing. It says spell on it. So he's like, these words that we use are spells. There's so much to it. There's so much to it.
Well, see, that's the whole thing, is that it's most likely that the parasites themselves, because they're ancient in nature, would speak Enochian. And Enochian is essentially where the English language came from. The English language is ancient. Ancient. It was just never spoken the way that we speak it right now. You ever heard of Pig Latin? Okay, Pig Latin is kind of trying to find Enochian. If you could speak the English language backwards, the way that King James put it in the Bible, those types of words, you speak them backwards, they are Enochian language.
Right. Okay.
Which is precisely why, you know, people say, oh, they added something to satanic backmasking on records. It's like, no, they didn't. You're just hearing the actual words of those words backwards, which has an actual word, which is ancient. So you never hear, when they're going backwards, you never hear anything unless it's the backwards version of Satan.
Right. You know, the only thing I know about Enochian is John Dee. He was doing the Enochian tablets, which were like magic stuff.
He did Enochian magic. He did all Enochian calls. He was huge for the Queen. And there's documented stories that in using this Enochian magic, see, and this is where you get to call on. And this is the crazy thing. I don't know whether you remember during the election when Al Gore went through New Zealand and then went to Antarctica for the election, just before the election. It was like, because they knew Hillary was going to lose or something like that. It was like, why did Al Gore go? Apparently he went there to ask whoever this is, Satan, Lucifer, whoever runs this thing, to change things. Apparently that entity was really pissed and punished, and the New Zealand government even said that they believed this. So this is where governments know this about this place. They're aware of this. They know what the swastika is. That's got nothing to do with Hitler. That thing's ancient.
It's the disc as well. It moves.
It's exactly why. Yeah. Take the VW logo, spin it. It'll be a swastika. That was his invention.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's not a Nazi symbol. It's coming from that place. It's the symbol of that place. It's ancient. It goes way, 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 way back. And it's the same entity. And that's why Admiral Byrd, when he said these things came attacking him, that they had swastikas on them.
Now,
that's why they've made the swastika a hate symbol to hide that.
Right. What a fabulous way to that's what they
hide it.
They do this with Google. They'll just say people would be Googling. This is the best example. People Google Disney froze himself underneath Disneyland. So what do? They made a movie called Disney Frozen. They made that movie because when you Google Disney Frozen himself, that movie will pop up and nothing else.
It's all disclosure. It's all disclosure. I mean, it's like, and you know what? All of these wizards and dragons and everything. You know what? You ever seen Fantasia or Fantastic at Disneyland? You know, Mickey Mouse and all these dragons and things and these people fighting each other and all these different characters and everything. And then Mickey comes out and he's the wizard and he identifies them and he kills them. And then he goes, "How was that for an imagination?" Right?
Well, you did that really good. You did that. That was a good impression. Now, the Mickey is interesting. That movie, I believe they played one of Beethoven's symphony.
Yes.
And Beethoven was taught by a prominent Illuminati member, which I find fascinating. And he has his last symphony, which is the 9th symphony. The Beatles have nine studio albums. That's like that completion number. So in Antarctica, have you looked into the penguins at all? I did this great little podcast with this man, Ani, and he was breaking down Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins' umbrella is the Knights Templar logo or the Umbrella Corporation at Resident Evil or just so many different things. But the penguins, wild information. Do you know anything about the penguins? First, you got the duality checkerboard, like the cow.
Like the Masons. Yeah.
Like the Masons. But there's reports of all these experiments with pineal glands of penguins that was released. I just didn't know if you knew anything on that topic at all. Just penguins.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the topic itself, except for penguins and how they how they operate between each other, that they have a way to when in a small, have you ever heard of the 100 monkeys experiment?
Right, right.
Well, the penguins show and demonstrate the 100 monkeys, except much, much faster and just with very few. So just a couple learn something and everybody knows it instantaneously. They don't have to be taught. Even if they don't see it, they all know. So they're all connected, right? And this is the whole point. This is also Christ, of one mind, of one accord. Once you are in yourself, then we're all connected, but we're connected in the kingdom, something the place can't be observed, not a thought. Or not your it's a thought, not a thought that is observed, or not a demonic thing. So they are the penguins themselves, to me, kind of reflect like a decentralized network, because instantaneously put it on and they all know it.
Right.
But they're all independent. And that that's kind of also us as well, because we're kind of in that 100 monkey situation here. And if people don't know what that is, do you know you want to tell them?
So they did an experiment with 100 monkeys on a beach, and once 100 of these monkeys did that on another beach that wasn't even near them, they started doing that as well, whatever they were. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. They taught these monkeys to. They gave them food, threw it in the sand. The monkeys ate it first, and then they threw the food in the sand, and then they wouldn't eat it with the sand. And so they taught a couple of the monkeys to wash it off in the sand, and then they would eat it. And then they watched those monkeys teach all of these monkeys on this island, right? Then they went to go do the same experience on the island, like 30 miles away, with a different set of monkeys that weren't in communication with them. And at that time, there was only, like, they figured there was probably only 70 monkeys or something like that, the number of monkeys that it was going to take. But on that island, they were observing those. And when it got past 100 monkeys on the one island, something happened that all of the monkeys on every other island, regardless of distance, that were the same species, all knew and all washed off their food. They all knew the lesson already.
It was so wild. I mean, just that alone, of the cities that we live in, the music that gets played in all the radio stations when you're walking to a store, just what people say, that the group think that it's like the parasite.
But that's a law. Do you see what I'm saying? When
It's a law, though.
It becomes a law, and that's what tells me it's a matrix, right? That's a program. When a program looks and sounds like this. When something happens here, check there. If 25 or more are there, then do this. If 35 or more, then do that. If that is there, then do this. This is how you're setting it up. When it gets to 100, make sure the rest know, because it's going to be important. Like that kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And boom, they all know. That's programming. Somebody wrote that. And that's the whole point about the matrix, is that everything is a program. She's like, oh, there was an intuitive program written for that and for that and for that. Everything is a program. Literally. And it's crazy. And it's a program driven by that cube. That's why everybody worships it, right? This program is driven by that cube. That's God. But the difference is...
Yes, the cube. I just want to add on top of that, it had the hexagon, the 6 sides, Saturn right there, but also our clock connected to 6. It's wild. If you connect all the different numbers, it equals 6. So like 12 up here and 6 down here, you minus 12 and 6, it's 6. It goes like, it adds up to 6. You got 24 hours in a day. 4 plus 2 is 6. So it's wild that. And then you got celebrities like Drake, who's known as the 6th god, and he names his son Adonis. And that goes into a whole another thing of rose symbolism, because Venus makes a pentagram in the sky every 8 years that looks like a rose petal. Mm-hmm. There's so much symbolism, which is a story being told, I think, through the celebrity. So what I'm trying to get at is not only the parasites in our body through food, through all these different things, but you even got artists, celebrities that are just adding to the fireflies.
Yeah, they're all bringing it now. It's like I said, they're ushering this in because they're waiting. This one coming in. This is what all of this is about. This whole 6th dimension. But the reality is, this is the good and evil. And by the way, if you want to know why everybody's trying to get into World War III so badly, is because obviously that balanced equation needs some dead people and some destruction and some mayhem and more fear, because basically what the sun is doing is lighting people up to love, and it's collapsing things. It's collapsing things.
Have you noticed the sun is more white now than yellow at all? At least in Arizona, not in Hawaii. Hawaii was pretty yellow. But I'm back in Arizona. The sun is white. You
know what? You bring that up. I'm going to have to find this tab right now. Let me stop sharing this, and I'm going to find this tab of this dude because I brought him up. Let me find it. Oh, and listen to what he says. He also talks about the parasites. It'll blow your mind. Okay, so I'm going to let me get to this.
Yeah, find that. And I also want to ask you about what's your thoughts on knowing all of this with AI being implemented, the number one topic at the Bilderberg group that just took place a couple of days ago, last week. How is that going to add on to the addition? Is that technology is ancient and it's been here at least 40 years, that this chat GPT isn't a new thing.
Oh, way more, way longer. I mean, so first of all, let me just say this, is that everything that we're in right now is already AI. Okay, this is our world before AI was run by AI, just an ancient AI. It is AI. It's the same thing. That is this God. This is the center of it. Somebody runs it. Somebody does. And they don't die. They stay here forever. So remember also timing. Every day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years a day to God. So when we're talking about timing, remember that what Saturn represents time, chronos. Saturn represents discipline. Saturn represents judgment. Saturn represents all of the attributes of the ancient vengeful God. So that's Saturn's gig. That's why they worship Saturn. It is that cube. It's satanic worship, but this is the God of this world worship. That's why it's such a narrow gate and few find it to get out of here, because everybody's going to worship this God because he's powerful, man. He runs this whole show and has. So if you want to stick around here and keep returning to this and drop into a pig every now and then drop into another body and run this system is as ugly and disorganized as it gets, based on that good and evil equation, balanced equation, because the evil is just so awful to those that have to endure it when it's out of balance. And that's all of us. So, but check this out and listen to what this guy says, what we were just talking about.
Volcanoes and the earthquakes understand that the sun is a buffer or a limiter. Keys of Enoch. The self-realized man understands why our star is a buffer which shuts out the direct input and output message emanating from the divine. The sun, as a solar reactor, however, buffers out the messages of the higher memory functions of simultaneous overself programs or previous incarnations. Therefore, the sun is a solar reactor which is used to buffer the output message, the output and input message that your mind will normally require to know where you have been or where you are in another space-time cell. The sun is limiting your memory of your overselves, your other bodies on different planes, and knowledge of where you have been before you came here. It is literally blocking your memory of the complete dimensions to the human soul and the different planes in which it occupies. The sun is a buffer, a limiter to the true spiritual sun, and will be removed gradually until it's completely gone. Revelation 21:23, and the city had no need of a sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Revelation 8:12, and the fourth angel sounded, and suddenly a third part of the sun was smitten, and a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened. And the day showed not for a third part of, and the night likewise. The third dimensional buffer or limiter we call the sun is beginning to be removed. What they refer to as sunspots are actual holes where the spiritual sun is now shining through at higher and higher rates. As the buffer is being removed, more cosmic rays and solar rays are bombarding the planet. Keys of Enoch. Stellar radiations and cosmic ray bombardment produce chemical and physical reactions. These radiations may affect members of the planetary family by generating complex organic molecules from simple inorganic substances, giving rise to a vast variety of intelligences. These two rays heat up the air, the surface, and below the surface of the planet. This is what is causing the earthquakes and volcanoes. The spiritual sun through the astral windows is sending more and more cosmic and solar rays to the bodies that can accept it and also to the bodies that cannot. This is why you need.
So what it was saying, because I don't know if I understand it.
That tab.
The audio doesn't sound too clear.
It has.
Oh, now it's
not find it. It literally vanished on me.
No, yeah, now it sounds really good. So the
hold on, brother, 1 second. Wow, this thing is not here. Nuts. Okay, sorry about that. Man, oh man, I could not find this tab. It was so buried under everything. But did you hear what he said? That it's going to change and will allow us to make technology. Let me find that again really quick, just the audio. Sorry, it took me so long to find that tab. But this is all out of the keys of Enoch. Did you hear him say that? Allowing you, and this is from the keys of Enoch, allowing you a higher technology in a bio form, that it's like you can only do this right now when the sun is doing this. So they're taking advantage of this time because then it's embedded in our DNA while our DNA is open. You know that big section of our DNA that they call junk? Because they don't want you looking at it?
Yeah, all
right?
junk DNA.
Well, that's the part that they're going to use. Like that's probably the part that was eliminated or turned off to make us die at 120 years old and allow parasites to be in our body and not kick them out, all sorts of little different things. So, but it's really
the junk DNA.
He says it.
The junk DNA. It's like a lot of our DNA was just doesn't do anything. It's junk, and then you got your brain doesn't even do. Your brain doesn't do all of the stuff that it can do, and we can't even see with our own eyes all the light spectrum. So with the sun opening up with the flares, there's another sun behind that's like more powerful, and that's open. I don't know. I'm sort of understanding it. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Hold on. Are you hearing that audio?
No.
Okay, good. I was trying to shut off audio again. You stop sharing that. But there was so funny that you just brought that up, and this is what I mean. This is why this is gonna not. This is just the beginning of this. As I uncover this, as you do, you're going to see this is all connected, and the parasitic nature of this, and it's really what we feel like in this world. But the main message that I feel this massive urgency that something's going to happen. Our hearts are already hardened, and I don't believe that we can take for granted that we won't be messed up. In a more confused, that there's might not be something if we're not prepared. I just feel that there's this overwhelming thing that we're going to be locked, because both John and Christ talked about the urgency, but John more than Christ. John talked about the urgency of not judging. Like, you should never hold any of your brothers, no matter what, accountable for, because the thing is that it's not your parasite and you're not being controlled by you. So if you're going to accept the forgiveness of being ruled under a captor that sold you, that took you into slavery and made you do and convinced you to do the things that you do and to be the person that you've become, you don't have an option. People think you have an option. You have an option possibly to choose, but I think that there's a deeper meaning to all of this, that you might not have so much of the option that you think. Oh, I fought that one. Yeah, you might have just gone from one demon to the next demon because you got different voices in there, and they can all begin and work together. And the thing about this is that, you know what a hermaphrodite is?
Yes. I know it's not what's in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but
No.
I know what it is.
Yes, but okay, but think about that, is that we have that in our patterns. Something else happens there. We don't necessarily know, but it's something. And usually when that is, there's very much a double personality. Almost there are literally like two separate people in there, maybe even two of the original worms, because they're two separate people. They're male and female. They're very hermaphrodite. They're like two personalities that don't blend. They can't blend here because it's binary. They don't blend. They can get along, but they're always at odds, and they'll drive it. And one of them in these people, and the same thing with us, a parasite. You might have a parasite in you that absolutely can't stand certain noises. And the person could come up, a woman that you just like, my God, she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Look at her. She's incredible. And then she talks and there's a tone in her voice. You're like, yeah, no, that might not be you. That might be just that thing that goes, oh, I hate her voice. And you hear that in your head. Yeah, that's somebody else, because you could observe that thought taking place.
So, yes, you were talking about this observing thought, and this is something I've been contemplating a while, me and the boys kicking it, looking at our thoughts or whatever. There was a meme that said something like that. I forget what it said, but observing, it's like we can see the thoughts, and for a spiritual experience, it's like got to kind of come home. It's like an inside job. And and some days I feel very spiritual and I'm like, awesome. And then other days I don't, and I feel disconnected from God. So I'm always searching outward. Like I'm going to go watch a YouTube video, or I'm going to go do this or listen to this music. I'm always searching outside rather than going inside. So I'm observing, and that's what I do for a living is I film. And so I'm observing what's on the screen. I'm observing what's on the camcorder, and I like it. It's fun. I like to observe and whatnot, but it's much different than coming home, I guess. And this idea of the thoughts not even being ours, because we're observing it. Like, where does that come from? Where did that thought just come up? Why don't I want to listen to this lady? Who's like,
yeah, it's like somebody else said it. Like, it's like you hear something and you automatically hear the thought, the observation of it. Like I said, boy, I hate her voice. And you think it's your thought because it sounds like it was your voice.
And then I get these abrasive thoughts too. We're just saying, oh, you're going to mess this up. This is bad. This is terrible.
They're not all bad demons. That's why they're called angels. Or ancestors.
Yeah, so there's these thoughts that you observe. It's a bunch of different things. It could not just be demons, but there also could be positive.
Absolutely. But at the same time, that's also a control mechanism. It's a control mechanism for the good and evil balanced equation. That's got to be balanced, because if that doesn't balance out, everything goes away. Literally, like, people would start dropping dead. Mountains would be, earthquakes. We're already experiencing it. These things are going off. We relate it to, oh, well, these are geological things. No, this is literally the code and the sun and everything working, and it's falling apart. It's waking us up, and it's creating these disruptions. Yeah, I know that these things and people are just dropping dead all over the place, right? And it's because of things, but sometimes it's not. Maybe that's the excuse. Maybe they're just like there are breakdowns. Things are breaking down. The matrix is collapsing. The system is falling apart, and you watch everybody scrambling to try to figure out what it is. Save yourself. Save yourself and help inform and save others by loving them.
It's funny because Einstein, I'm always like looking at different quotes and whatnot. And Einstein says the new medicine will be vibration. So I think that plays, because he stole all of his information from someone else.
Yeah, you can kill them with vibration too. That's why raising your frequency, you get to a frequency that they don't survive in. right?
Yep.
You can raise your frequency to a level that exceeds this third dimension world, and you can kill a 3D parasite.
I wonder if I have this slide. Oh, I don't have it on there. It didn't upload. But I was looking at the Wi-Fi symbol, right? That's a frequency. But if
Yep.
you just turn the Wi-Fi symbol upside down, it's a pyramid with the all-seeing eye at the top, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah, see, this is why. Yeah, here we go. You're still there. Oh, no wonder. There's a new tab. Hold on, find Wi-Fi. That was weird. Open up another tab. Let me do this again. Yeah, so if you turn it upside down, let me see if I can actually do that.
And I mean, it's just so, it's such a perfect Eye of Providence, like pyramid with the capstone at the top. It's that like to a T,
Yeah.
but it's something so simple that you say this to somebody, they're going to laugh at you. But it's kind of like, yo, it's a money funnel. And it's like, no, it's a pyramid scheme or whatever.
Yeah, and of course you can see that this is the you know, you've got the infinity. So this is literally the, you know, another sign of Satan.
Oh, right. And then, you know, the
everything's
new
honoring that.
the new Fed Now logo is the Ouroboros.
So we're gonna continue to track this down. We're coming up on 2 hours, and I don't want to eat up more of your time. And I got to eat. I haven't eaten. I'm starving. The food is delicious down here. You know, you can get a whole dinner with, you know, 3 people for very little money at some of these places, depending on where you need to go. Wonderful folks. But I'm gonna continue on this, and I'm sure you will, because as you've gone through this to see these things, you won't be able to not think about this. But everything is aligning up with this. Everything is lining up from the parasite to the matrix to who is running the matrix. It's all coming together, and I believe that we're going to see more of this as we see what they roll out in the technology that they have. I mean, we've got Elon doing Neuralink. That things are going to go so much faster because of AI, because now they can justify the speed by which they do it, because now they can go, oh, just AI doing it. Now they can release anything. They can do whatever they want. And there is going to be disclosure. We will have different types of people. You will see that they're going to do all of this. Now, people are going to say it's fake. Well, guess what? If we live in a matrix, it's fake anyway. Like, this is the whole thing. Only love is real. This thing collapses, you might find out that you're an entirely different person than you thought you were, and very powerful, and a king, and run your own kingdom, but in a completely different way, because it's not this 3D place with good and evil. It's just a different entirely experience. That's why people want to come and experience what good and evil is. I'm sure that's how he sold them on it. Hey, come on this Disney ride.
Right.
Come down to my place. I'm bored. He's relegated me. Yeah, God's relegated me down to this little spot. And so I'm going to have to make some planets and some devices. Hey, the moon, great idea. The moon, we'll call it sin. That's literally its ancient name. The moon is sin. It's a device. It controls water in your body. It controls water on the planet, right? Controls water in the system. Of course, it controls parts of you. It's a device. Same with everything's a device. All of this, it's technology. And the universe, who knows how big it is? Because if it's technology, it could seem like it's 10,000 trillion light years away. And it would be based on the technology's data that is there. So that's how long it would take you to travel inside the computer if you're inside the computer to get there. You still got to traverse the laws of the system that you've built within in a simulation as well. Anybody that's played a simulation like The Sims, I mean, man, that game was enough to scare the hell out of you. So we're there. So as we continue to go, as you see these symbols, you're going to see people doing this and honoring, because they know that's exactly who's controlling all of this. And they know it within themselves. And that's also why, quite honestly, I think many of these really, really, really old folks like the Rothschilds and these folks that are really deep into this and have been around a lot longer than people realize, and those families have been coordinating this type of thing, knowing all of this secret knowledge for so long, they don't care what they look like. These people have more money than anybody on earth, but yet can't get their teeth fixed. You know what I mean? They don't care. And they all look like they're demons. They could care less. They're focused on a great point. Focused on an entirely different thing. Believe me, these people don't think the same as you do. They don't think the same as us. because they've been dealing with this. That's why that's not a long, people say, oh, why would they do that? They won't live to see the benefits. How do you know they won't live to see the benefits? They can probably move that damn parasite in their consciousness and have been able to do that shit for thousands of years. They run these resets. This happens. There's nothing new under the sun. They all work for the big dude. And he runs the show, and he's got some really, really serious technology and enough technology to steal us from a different place and house us here in our spirit, essentially, in a 3D space that we believe is real. It's just not, it's controlled by parasites. Although this 3D space is still real, it's still physical, as long as it's vibrating. Like I used to say in my old videos, when God stops humming, everything goes away. I didn't realize how right I was. So I'd appreciate you doing it. And anytime that you got something to say and find something more about this, let me know. We'll
yeah, thank you so much for having me. And this has been fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
It makes it easier because this is complicated to talk about. It covers a lot of different areas to try to get you to even start. This is really just the beginning of the thought on this. I have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other things that I've uncovered, but I just can't add them all. You can't talk about them in a day. It takes too long. That's why you got to flash through these, and it already takes 2 hours just for us. This is a 30, 40-hour conversation, and that's just to get to the information that is available right now, much less what comes out new. So I'm going to continue doing pieces of this, and also covering some crazy stuff that's happening in the world to help you understand, help people to see how this is being used. When groups do this, or they do that, or they do this over here, and what's going to happen. I will also be doing some videos on, but only on Twitter, because I can't say things here, right? But over there, if it's a subscription, and I got it for just a couple bucks a month, because you're paying for it, I can say anything behind the paywall, because people are paying for it. So there is zero censorship behind a paywall, whether it's $1 or $2. That's the only reason why you do it. It changes the rules.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. It changes the rules. It's your church. They're not going to tell you what to say in your church. You know what I mean? They subscribe to you. It's your church. So that's where I'll be able to say a lot of the things, but about what's taking place in the U.S., there is so much more that people don't know as far as what's going on. And it's not that it's more important than the discussions about who we are spiritually and loving one another. It's just knowing where we're at that space and time, so you know how to react, or just how much time. You're always gauging your time. How much time do we got? Do I have time to take a cleanse? You know what I mean? But really, it's going to be about loving one another and forgiving one another and not holding each other accountable anyway. Dumping the debt, because this good and evil is a debt system. And they're balancing it with that too. It creates everything. It's literally the only way we're out of this is dying to it. And I have a song that I'm going to close out with this. And this is really kind of, so look at this. Everybody's dealing with, like I said, that kind of, that non-emotional, non-empathetic person people see as narcissists or dark triad personality. Everybody's experiencing this thing. So you got narcissist and empath, these two different levels. This person feels everything. This person feels nothing. But needs the energy of others. So we've got kind of this thing going on, but the reality is it's only happening because we're living it. It's like our country itself is narcissistic. Doesn't actually have, it only pretends to have feelings. Oh, we're doing this for the safety and security of those people over in Iraq while we kill 1.5 million of them. The hypocrisy is what's there. So the reality is that all of us, it's like we have Stockholm syndrome as Americans, that we've watched the country abuse and abuse and abuse and abuse and abuse and misuse us and misuse and abuse us. And we keep coming back to her over and over, no matter how much abuse. And so there was a guy, his name is Nako the Bear. He's on YouTube. You guys can check him out. Nako the Bear, Nako and the medicine for the people, or medicine of the people. Nako is amazing. I got to find this. Hold on one second. I'm going to close out with that before I say goodbye to you, but as I say goodbye to you, hold on one second. You're going to love this. This is a great song, folks.
And everybody, make sure to smash that like button.
Yeah, and you
hit
know
that
what?
subscribe button.
Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to Donut, you know, he's I think he's even got more subscribers than I have now, and I was one of the first people that had. Wow,
Well,
was it first?
you bringing me on your show was a game changer. You know, most of my audience came over from your channel, so thank you. I'm really appreciative of it. And yeah, there's a lot of great content up there. It's fun, lighthearted, but also it could get kind of dark too, because you go into these topics, but it's entertaining as well. And you always will learn something new in each video.
No question. I always learn a lot from you, Donut. You covered, like I said, see, that's why I actually wanted you, because now that you see this, you're going to start looking at the symbolism and everything with just that tiny little bit of information and go, I think you're going to find a lot more there.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a disclosure, a UFO like disclosure about a parasite on like Europa or something. And this year, the year of the rabbit is on the moon rabbit. During Lunasa, during the Mooncake Festival, I bet you there will be some kind of. It'll be fake though. It won't be a real thing.
Won't be a real one.
I think they'll, just because this video. I mean, it'd be wild if that happened.
Well, check out this song as we leave. I just want to say first, I appreciate you, Donut, for coming by. Everybody, like I said, subscribe to Donut. But let's listen to the song. And this is basically treating the United States as a narcissist, that we're just done with it. We're done. And so this is, and whatever country you're in, it's the same thing. You're dealing with the same thing. They don't care about you. They never did. They only pretended to. I love you very much. Join the show. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these now that I'm finally set up. And hopefully we'll build this out a little bit better. We're not going to get too rich on it. I am going to do stuff outside and around and do some videos itself, because I think Mexico is a really cool place and has some interesting things to see, and including that Trump wall. I think it's quite different. And all of that's happening down here isn't what you think it is. So I'm going to start doing that from this side of the border, since nobody does. Love you all much. Remember, we're divorcing the good old government to USSA. Love you much, and we'll talk to you soon.
My lover was a psychopath. I would know I was just like that. Shit got ugly, yeah, it got real bad. Never failed, always came right back. So thank you for the lessons. Fuck you for all the abuse. I will birth new life from darkness, like I always do, 'cause I was fucking made for this. Now watch me get paid for it. Take it from me. When I lost everything, I realized nothing happens to me. It's all happening for me. With every stone they cast, I'll build something that lasts. My God, I don't regret. My past does not define what's next for me. And I am enough, just as I am. Enough, 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 enough. Enough, 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 enough. Enough, 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 enough. I am enough, yes I am. Here we are in the aftermath. Dying to live is the only path. I could teach a fucking master class. Shit so heavy you just have to laugh. So thank you for the lessons. Fuck you for all the abuse. I will birth new life from darkness, like I always do, 'cause I was fucking made for this. Now watch me get paid for it. The one thing that remains is my willingness to change. This is the way. Take it from me. When I lost everything, I realized nothing happens to me. It's all happening for me. With every stone they cast, I'll build something that'll last. My God, I don't regret my past. Does not define what's next for me. And I am enough, just as I am. Enough, 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 enough. I am enough. Enough, 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 enough. I am enough. Yes, I am.
I hope you guys enjoyed that song. Did you like that song? I haven't ended the broadcast yet. Oh, I think you're still muted. You're muted.
I liked it.
That's Nako Bear. Go subscribe to him. He's an absolutely amazing artist, and he's had a heck of a year, kind of like me. So I appreciate him. I appreciate you. And I just want to tell everybody, I'm so happy to see all of you again. It's great to see your names in here. Sending all of my love, all of the appreciation, and everybody that supports me. Believe me, it is never, ever, ever unnoticed. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you and how many times many of you have saved my absolute ass. I appreciate that. I love you, Donut. You've even helped my ass sometimes, man.
Oh, hey, likewise. You too.
Love you too, brother. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.